Great guy. Good afternoon, Hotline.
Wow, one of the nicest guys you ever meet.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, he sure is.
Yeah.
He's one of my Facebook buddies. Are you on Facebook, Jeff?
I am not on Facebook. I was talking to someone the other day who was suggesting I get on there.
Oh, you should. It's huge.
I don't understand all of that stuff. And isn't that dangerous?
Well, I'll tell you that MySpace is more like for the youngins and more music-oriented.
Right.
Facebook has kind of taken over where Classmates, trying to be a paid service, originally started.
So this is free. You just get on there and then people find you somehow?
Yeah, generally it's networking defined, but you can do a search from anyone, say from Watertown High class of 73, and everybody that's on there, if they signed into it, which most people do, the kind of meeting is regarding when you graduated is how a lot of people are, but then so-and-so knew so-and-so and this brother. And
so Walt's in there under class of 73?
Well, I don't know what he's in, but I found him, or found me one or the other.
So he's in Facebook, huh?
It's just, it's one of those kind of cool things where you keep in touch and you can show some pictures before and after, and, if someone's building a house or putting in a pool or whatever, people show what they're doing as they're doing it, and when there's reunions, it's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, well, that does sound fun. What's the other one that's out there? The other
one is like MySpace.
MySpace, is that different?
Yeah, that's more like youth-oriented and band, like live music-oriented. Like a lot of bands have their website.
So Facebook is more meant for fossils and older people.
It's more of like what Classmates originally was, where people just come together for class reunions, and there's a lot of that stuff going on, say like at the Pewter Mug or wherever, where it's like, hey, a bunch of Facebook people meeting there for a semi-reunion type of thing, or
right,
one of those things. Hey, had kind of a funny thing happen to me over the weekend. You might be interested in.
What's that?
With a regular mail, got a letter that didn't notice. It was just kind of opened it up by mistake. That was written to my address, only instead of Street Ave in Wisconsin. Not Watertown, Wisconsin. It was just a different town in Wisconsin. Not to give out all the details. In that letter was 2 checks and a deposit slips for $1,200. And it was, I don't know how it would get to Watertown instead of Wisconsin.
You mean it was for you?
It was written to M&I Bank. And being my first name's Mike, I just kind of didn't really look at the envelope, was opening up a few things, and popped it open, and then all of a sudden there's 2 checks and a deposit slip. One of the checks for $500 written to cash. The other one written to $700 written to, this person who was trying to use this as a deposit. What they did is they mailed out a deposit. The return address was in Wisconsin, and they also, and this is Madison, Wisconsin, zip code nothing like ours, although the street name is the same as mine and the street address.
So it somehow got delivered to you, different name, of course.
Different name. It was written to a bank. Poor handwriting, but this is just kind of, now I called the post office on it, and I called, first of all, my wife called the bank and just said, like, hey, we got this by mistake. We're going to mail it out to you today. Can you get a hold of the person? Because we didn't have the person's anything but their name and address on the deposit slip. Can you get a hold of them and tell them, like, this is where their deposit is? Because they're probably missing this $1,200 that was mailed out postmarked in Wisconsin on the 9th.
Right. Check for cash. Now, you probably could have negotiated that.
Sure. I mean, it was me, you, and everybody else listening could have split up that $500 as cash. But, you do the right thing. You send it out. But I called the post office, and here's the odd thing. I talked to, I thought when I called first thing this morning, they'd send someone over to pick it up. And my suggestion is send this out express mail. It doesn't cost them anything to send express mail. Make up for their mistake the best they can. But instead, I was just told that, this is a mistake that's happening with automation, and the more that we get into the new type of automation they want to take away from Watertown and have the sorting done off premises, the more of this that's going to happen.
And it makes you scary because sometimes you do pay your bills by mail. I'm kind of old school on that.
Sure. Well, and they said just put it on the mailbox. Well, we put it in another envelope, inside an envelope, and made it clear handwriting and did our own dime to put the stamp on it, and that's not the problem. But I think they should have sent someone over to pick it up, and they should have sent it out like an express mail and tried to make up for all the error time that they've had involved. It doesn't cost them anything, but they didn't want to go down that road. And this ironically, last year, now the Watertown court system sends out like court dates first class mail, which is an error in itself. They shouldn't be doing that. When you get a court date sent to you, it should be return receipt. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I never got a court receipt, so I missed a court date. Obviously, I lost that decision because I wasn't there. Now, I went into court afterwards. My lawyer brought it up, but before we never got to say our part of the case because, the judge just said it was, doing the fair thing. Well, hey, all we're obligated to do, the court system, is send things out first class mail. We haven't heard any notice of no one else not getting this notice. Well, it's like, I guess it's just we can't rely on first class mail, and I lost that case because of that. I never got to get never had the day in court because of it.
Right.
The day in court was to decide whether or not I got another date because I missed that date. And I only missed that date because I never got it. And now to show you the quality of what our first-class mail is, the court system in our town shouldn't be sending anything out first-class mail either. It opens up a whole other can of worms if someone wants to, be devious and not send something, or if a postman sees something and didn't like it along the way. Yeah, if you send it receipt required, that's how a court date should be done. I don't know how you do it any other way, but, the laws are the way they are. That's not correct either.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
I thought that was kind of an interesting story.
Interesting thing, and so you sent it back to the bank already, or maybe you should send it to the individual.
Well, it's a deposit with 2 checks. I mean, they're going to want it into the bank.
Had the deposit slip been filled out?
Deposit slip was filled out, and the checks were endorsed. And like I said, one of them was written to this person for $700. The other one was written to cash. And the writing on the envelope looks like it might have been from an old person. It wasn't very good, but the return address was stamped. And the zip code was clear. So, I mean, I don't know how it would have got here.
Well, there was a bank out there in Madison, huh?
Yep, and it's like I said, it's the same street as mine. Mine's Sherman Street. That's at Sherman Ave. But it's the same, address. So it's just one of those strange things where it's because we don't have human touch taking it. It's just the human touch.
Right. A lot of people think somebody looks at the envelope and says, oh, that's that address. Actually, a optical thing looks at it and kind of tries to interpret it.
I talked to my carrier, and it's certainly not her fault. She said that everything's sorted, so all she's doing is looking at my pile of mail might have magazines or Walmart ads or anything in it, and it all gets one group and just gets shoved in my mailbox.
Who's your carrier over there?
Right. What's that?
Who's your carrier? You got the cute one over there?
Yes, we do. Her name's Alicia. She's a nice girl. That's obviously nothing she did wrong.
Right.
But I'm just, when I call the post office, why wouldn't they send someone over and put that in express mail and go, well, we'll do the right thing? It's not costing them anything to do that express mail.
I don't know. Sometimes they don't. I'm sure they don't.
No, I know John McHugh's office is listening. If they wanted to give me a call.
I don't know. I think they are, yeah, because we are streaming and stuff, so.
No, and another thing, here's another post problem. You ship a lot of things overseas. And when you ship it overseas, if something gets lost, they take 60 days to do an investigation before you can put in a claim.
Right.
And then after that, it's another unlimited amount of time before they decide on the claim. You're not really getting insurance. That's like our post office just not going by the standard. Now, if I send that same item and I send it FedEx, as soon as that tracking shows that it's not delivered, they make a decision right there whether it's lost, and they pay the claim, because that's how insurance works. If they don't, the post office just has this exclusive proprietary thing where they go on their own rules, and they really...
Well, it's a difference.
Yeah. Of the past.
Okay. Well, it's a difference when you're delivering a 42-cent item versus a $20 express mail or something.
Well, I'm talking when I'm shipping something overseas. I'm paying $70 for it. I'm paying the insurance.
What do you okay.
And it's not. And then as soon as it doesn't show in the time period it's supposed to be, you have to wait 60 days before they'll put in a claim for the other country to get back to them. It's only them. It's if you send it through FedEx, it's a completely different story. FedEx is on top of it. The post office just, and it's certainly not the employees themselves' fault. They've just pigeonholed themselves into a system that's set up to fail. And right here we've got our John McHugh, who's supposed to be overlooking this. Now, George says he's not. I've always read that he was the man that's looking over it.
No, he served on a subcommittee or something. He probably got some PAC money from the Postal Workers Union.
Well, either way,
he doesn't look over.
Local that could take.
He doesn't oversee the post office. My God, he's got a lot of other things to do.
Well, either way, not oversee, but he's
been listed as the best-dressed congressman in Washington. I mean, that takes up a certain amount of time in your day.
Well, I guess so.
When you're Mr. GQ on Capitol Hill there, I mean, it's not a...
Well, I've put my 5-second rant on.
All right, thank you.
That's bye-bye now, don't you know?
755-1240 is the phone number. We're going to be back. I'm going to tell you about an important